What is up, everyone? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we'll be reacting to this tragic season changed Formula One forever. I'm very intrigued. I don't know what season they're going to talk about here, but one of you requested this video. I'm really excited. Obviously, I'm going to be excited. It's about Formula One, and nothing can compare to Formula One. I know that I'm getting into loads of other motorsports. A couple of you asked me recently, oh, is Formula One still your favourite motorsport? I'm like, yeah. Nothing will change that. Nothing will come close to it. Yes, I'm absolutely loving NASCAR and IndyCar, and I'm thinking about getting into MotoGP next season. But for me, it's just nothing like Formula One. I just can't get over it. It's in my brain constantly. It's just something that I obsess over. So when I get to react to videos about Formula One, I'm like, okay, I'm so excited for this one. But like I said, I have no idea what season they're going to talk about here, so I'm quite intrigued. But before we get into the video, make sure you subscribe. Over half of you that watch my videos aren't subscribed. Just hit the bell. It takes 2 seconds. And if you'd like to become a member on this channel and receive exclusive perks, you can also do that by hitting the join button down below.
And Senna! My goodness! What on earth happened there? I don't know.
The 1994 season.
1994. Okay.
Before the start of the season, there were very important changes that affected the future of the championship.
Oh, look at this old footage. Wow.
A more powerful car that would allow him to fight for the 4th title.
A more powerful car. Our times have changed. Williams are now at the back of the grid. It shocks me when Williams used to be championship winners compared to now.
Communication between the team and the driver was banned. How do you think?
What? Communication between team and the driver was banned. What do you mean? Are you trying to kill the driver?
Was Williams' only hope, but again, damn Häkkinen held him back. When Damon tried to overtake Mika, he went off the track. Because of this, he lost 6 positions.
6 places? What?
When Häkkinen retired due to a breakdown. However, after a transmission problem, Damon was also taken out of the fight. He had already managed
Oh no. This is so chaotic already.
Consecutive victory. He amassed an undisputed championship lead, but an unexpected newcomer.
Wow. 13 points ahead already.
Grand Prix. Therefore, he is now in 2nd place in the individual standings. However, Ayrton refused to believe in such a significant advantage for Benetton. In his opinion, Schumacher used traction control. To be honest, this only helped Michael, because the young German was motivated.
Look how young he looks there. This footage is crazy to me.
Senna moved to Williams to get the best car, but he hasn't even scored a single point yet. Therefore, the next stage...
Not one single point yet.
Later, it would be called the Black Weekend. What happened there?
Why is it called the Black Weekend?
3rd round, European season, starting now. Starting from 0, so basically our championship starts here. 14 races, not 16.
Qualifying proved to be challenging from the start. Senna felt pressured as he needed to set the best time in the qualifying session. All of a sudden, the rookie Rubens Barrichello went crashing at 220.
Oh my god!
Very serious accident. It seemed that his career might be over. Barrichello lost consciousness. He was immediately provided with emergency treatment because he had swallowed his tongue.
Swallowed his tongue?
It was a disaster. Rubens was his close friend. Ayrton supported him since childhood. He paid for the young driver's karting competitions. Barrichello eventually regained consciousness. No wonder the first person he saw was Senna. He was lucky. He only suffered a broken nose and bruised ribs. After Ayrton made sure that Rubens was okay...
I think that's so terrifying that you can swallow your own tongue. Ugh. The one bit that freaked me out the most there. Ugh, no.
Roland Ratzenberger had only one goal in mind: to get ahead of his teammate.
Gosh, there's so many big names in this 1994 grid.
He lost control and crashed into a concrete wall. A little earlier, the Austrian driver had driven over a curb, damaging the front wing of the car. As a result, the wing came off in the Tamburello turning zone. That left the car without control. It was immediately apparent that Ratzenberger was immobile. The atmosphere on the track became very tense. However, no one reported any information. Ayrton Senna immediately wanted to find out all the details. He used a safety car to arrive at the scene of the accident. The race management was
to the
quick to
scene.
criticize him. Senna responded decisively, "At least someone cared about safety." You see, Roland died on the spot.
Fair.
At this point, the Formula One management cheated. According to Italian law, if a tragedy occurs during an event, it must be suspended until the circumstances are clarified. That is, if the race was cancelled, Formula One would have lost millions of dollars. Nevertheless, Roland was taken to the hospital, and only there was the announcement of his death. This is the only reason why the race management did not want Senna to know the truth. The accident made Ayrton very upset.
So
He
he
even
cheated.
cried. It
Great.
was at this moment that a legendary
Great.
conversation took place that could change his life. The head doctor of the Formula and a close friend asked him,
He was the fastest man around. He won the championship so many times. Why don't we both quit and we'll go fishing? He took a long time before he answered, and then he turned to me and said, "Sid, I have to go on."
as you might have.
Oh, I got chills. Wow.
On the morning of May 1st, the day of the competition, a briefing was held for the drivers. Afterwards, Ayrton pushed for the restoration of the Drivers' Association. They agreed to take action before the next Grand Prix in Monaco.
This is crazy. I know I've said that so many times, but watching all of this footage and getting like the context behind each clip is actually crazy.
When the light turned green, JJ Leto's Benetton suddenly
I
stalled.
can't imagine how hard it must be. Oh my god.
Because there's debris on the circuit.
Pedro Lamy did not notice the stop
Just
in time
keeps going.
and crashed into the back of the car.
There's no.
The debris from the collision
No
scattered
stopping.
all over the track. They all
I was literally about to say, I can't imagine how hard it must be to have like a fatal accident like that and then get straight back in the car afterwards.
Senna, Schumacher, Hill. Everyone who was on the track that day knew that this was a bad sign. Let me explain. It was only the second race in the history of Formula One when the safety car drove on a dry track. Senna immediately
Right.
gestured for it to go faster. He could feel his tires losing temperature. On lap 5, the safety car leaves the track. Ayrton and Schumacher
Only the second time the safety car had driven on a dry track. That's insane.
started to put a lot of pressure on Ayrton on lap 6. Lap 7, 2:07 p.m.
What happened?
Senna! My goodness! I just saw him plunge off to the right, and Senna! What on earth happened there? I don't know.
What the
The
hell?
Brazilian crashes into a wall at a tremendous speed of 307 kilometers per hour.
What happened?
Despite his attempts to brake sharply, the impact reduced his speed to only 211 kilometers per hour. When paramedics arrived, they recorded a low pulse.
Aveva un sanguinamento importante per la lesione di vasi, era incosciente, però aveva il polso
Oh my God,
regolare
that's
e
terrifying.
però le condizioni si vedevano che erano condizioni critiche.
.220. He always pulled out the car. The front right wheel came off along with the suspension.
A
links.
fragment of the
Oh
suspension
my.
pierced the helmet's visor. This caused a severe penetrating head injury. At the same time,
God.
it caused a tear in the tissue above his right eye, which led to significant blood loss. Besides, the force of the impact threw Senna's head to the opposite side, causing numerous skull fractures. At that time, I was particularly surprised to see another car at the scene of the accident.
Well, I'm absolutely, I'm gobsmacked. I think that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen at any time in my life.
Where the hell did it come from?
Yeah.
But there's a catch. It was Eric Comas. 2 years ago, it was Senna who saved his life during a race. He raced around the track, full of desire to thank him. Unfortunately, it was too late.
Et surtout, il y a une paralysie.
I'm gonna cry. I know the story, but actually seeing like the live footage.
2 ans avant, m'avait sauvé la vie sans rien pouvoir faire, et ça, c'était terrible, parce que lui, il a...
Ayrton was hospitalized by helicopter to a hospital in Bologna. Formula One management was informed of Senna's serious condition, but no one told anything to the other drivers, while the drops of blood from the helicopter terrified the journalists. The race in Imola continued, so
It continued.
FIA. On lap 41, another terrible incident
What?
occurred. On the way out of the pits, Minardi's car lost a poorly secured rear wheel. As a result, several people in the pit lane were injured by the debris.
No way.
Schumacher held the lead throughout the race. Thanks to the tactic
This is just getting worse and worse.
race. Finally, the damn race was over. No champagne at the award ceremony. The participants did not even know what Senna's condition was.
That's heartbreaking.
Official news about Ayrton Senna's condition spread around the world.
Devo solo dire che gli accertamenti elettroencefalografici che abbiamo terminato 5 minuti fa purtroppo confermano quella che era stata la diagnosi clinica di morte cerebrale.
Ma non resta più alcuna speranza.
No, purtroppo nessuna speranza.
An Austrian flag was found in Senna's cockpit, which he planned to display at the finish line
know what
in
the
memory
outcome
of
was, but-
Ratzenberger. After Senna's death, a wave of grief and emotion swept Brazil. The Brazilian government declared 3
I got
days of
chills.
national mourning in Senna's honor.
Ayrton Senna, 3 times world motor racing champion, has died.
All those clips are hurting me. How do you carry on from that? I'm sat here about to sob, like...
Karl Wendlinger violently crashed into the
Oh my
wall.
god.
There's been another terrible motor racing accident today. The Austrian driver Karl Wendlinger is critically ill in hospital.
This incident left him in a coma with head injuries. Fortunately, he regained consciousness after 3 weeks. The press demanded that the killer race be stopped. Finally, the most competent organization in the world started to act only after 2 deaths and Wendlinger's accident. So, Max Mosley abruptly announced new changes. For 2 weeks, the teams were asked to reduce the size of the rear diffuser and front wing in order to reduce downforce. Also at this stage, the Drivers' Association, which Senna had insisted on, started operating. Niki Lauda became the head of the organization. They made their contribution and introduced a strict speed limit on the pit lane. Michael Schumacher dominated qualifying. He took his first career pole. Hakkinen and Berger were behind him. Before the race, the drivers honored the memory of Senna and Ratzenberger. It was painful to watch the unoccupied places on the starting grid.
Oh, I'm gonna cry again.
That's why Bernie Ecclestone and Frank Williams decided to invite Nigel Mansell, the 1992 champion. At that time, he was racing in IndyCar and agreed to take part in one race. At the French Grand Prix, Williams received updated Renault engines. The result was clearly visible in qualifying, as 2 Williams took the top positions.
Oh, did they?
Per streak. Okay. At the start, he was immediately ahead of them. The rapid start raised suspicions of using lap control. Hill tried to keep up with Schumacher. However, after the first pit stops, he began to fall behind. Mansell, who was third, gradually lost ground.
No one can beat him.
Schumacher was once again out of reach of his rivals. Michael's advantage in the championships.
Nothing is stopping this man. Just when you thought, I really thought they had some hope there after they qualified 1-2.
The FIA acted decisively. Their observers accused Schumacher of ignoring the black flag. This is a serious violation. Therefore, at a meeting in Paris, Michael was disqualified for 2 races, and that's not all.
Disqualified for 2 races?
$100,000. Do you remember Briatore's public letter to Mosley? Some believed that the harsh punishment was revenge. The FIA also had a chance to restore intrigue in the championship, and that was just the beginning of Benetton's accusations.
So not only did he not score points in that race, now he's banned for 2 more races.
Benetton filed an appeal in order to allow Schumacher to compete at his home stage. Local fans were also furious at this news. That's why piles of wood began to appear near the racetrack. This forced firefighters to dismantle them amid fears that fans would start fires in the dense forest surrounding the racetrack.
No way.
You may be surprised, but they were so angry that they threatened to kill Damon Hill.
What?
The race was postponed to the end of August. All the tickets were already sold out, and for good reason, because a big surprise will happen in the race.
Time we've had a fuel splash. Goodness me!
The Hockenheim circuit was more suitable for Ferrari and Williams.
That just went all over the pit crew. Oh my god, this just does not stop. It's just chaos on chaos on chaos. I can't believe what I'm watching.
Tended to reduce downforce. If you wore it out by more than 1 millimeter, you faced disqualification.
Right.
When the light turned green, a massive collision ensued.
Oh my goodness.
Immediately afterward, Mika Hakkinen cut off Coulthard and flew into the barriers. This caused a change.
It's insane, like how easily the cars just fall apart.
Were knocked out right at the start. And that's not all. as Gina Lacey retires due to electrical problems. Damon Hill damaged his steering linkage while overtaking. Do you think this is the end of the drama?
At this point, no.
Correctly during refueling, which led to a fire.
Oh my god.
He was bloody lucky because he didn't suffocate during the blaze. If he hadn't been lucky, we would never have seen little Max Verstappen grow up to become a 3-time world champion. But doesn't that seem strange to you? This incident has prompted a new FIA review. The race proceeds, but on lap 20...
Yeah, how did he not badly suffer there? Like, the fire literally engulfed him. He did a Grosjean there and just stepped out the fire.
Damon Hill was behind Coulthard after the first wave of pit stops. Neither of them had a chance to get closer to Schumacher. Oh, no, he did, when Schumacher made a mistake on lap 19 and turned around. He damaged a wooden bar under the bottom. Remember that.
Oh, did
Williams
he?
decided
Okay.
that Coulthard should give way to Hill. Despite these events, Schumacher finished first, Hill second, and Hakkinen third. The most interesting
he
part
still
was
won.
yet to come because Schumacher was disqualified. Let me explain.
what?
The wooden bar on Benetton's car was worn more than allowed. The team's arguments pointing to Michael's turn in the race were not accepted. It was so absurd that they didn't even check the board for an additional indicator, its weight. As a result, Damon Hill closed the gap by 10 points. You see, it was beneficial for the formula, because Schumacher was close to winning the title early. And I should also say that every scandal only attracted the
Right.
attention of fans. It's business, nothing personal.
Yeah, I was going to say, they've disqualified him to close the gap.
And now, during Michael's disqualification, Damon has a great chance to catch up.
Yeah, he does. I was going to say, he's just having like so many disqualifications right now.
Especially for Ferrari fans. To their
Yes. I still want to go to... I'm trying to go to Monza next year, and I really hope it happens.
chaotic. Eddie Irvine drove into Johnny Herbert, and the race was immediately stopped. Therefore,
oh my god, look at
the
this
knockout
chaos.
participants used the recording machines. During the race, John Alesi was leading, but at the pit stop, he was unable to change gears and went off. Therefore, Berger became the first. But Ferrari's failures continued.
Did they? Am I surprised? No. I love Ferrari, they're my favourite team, but they're just always up and down, aren't they?
Is first. Now he has one task, to win the next Portuguese Grand Prix. Although the week started with a
oh my, his head goes straight on the floor.
I'll be honest with you, after the race in Jerez, the fans were sure that Damon had no chance. Qualifying proved their words, as Schumacher was ahead of Hill in the first part. But then it suddenly started to rain, so
Oh, of course it did. You can always rely on the weather to fuck it up.
as soon as the light turned green, Schumacher and Hill stayed in their positions, but
Look at that spray. How do you even see where you're going?
changed dramatically. The day was over for Herbert, Kataji, and Inoue.
The sim takers,
My god.
Taki Inoue, the Japanese driver.
Because
That has got to be terrifying back then as well, with when they didn't have all of the like safety elements that they do now. In those kind of conditions. Terrifying.
asking for the race to be stopped. He wasn't the only one. Martin Brundle was shouting over the radio, "Bring out the safety car!" But it was not enough. I guess they need one more incident? Okay, Gianni
Oh my
Morbidelli crashes brutally at the exit of the turn. Before the participants have time to recover, Martin Brundle takes off in the same place at the moment of his
Oh my.
evacuation.
I think it is absolutely ridiculous to carry on in.
But there's a catch. He bounced off the wall and hit one of the marshals.
I was gonna
When
say
Martin
that.
got out of the car, he saw a man with a leg bone protruding through his jumpsuit. Exactly 20 years later, after this incident, a terrible
chills.
tragedy would occur at the same place. The dangerous departure
Yeah,
of special
no.
equipment during the race will lead to the next tragic accident of
Not Jules Bianchi.
Damon Hill takes the checkered flag, but we wait for
Oh.
Michael Schumacher. 3.36 seconds.
Schumacher still fails to make it. Damon
Damn.
Hill wins an important and first victory.
So he got a victory.
Technical problems for the German. The decisive race of the season.
And now there's 1 point between them.
By lap 17, Hakkinen, who was third, was almost half a minute behind.
He was third and he was almost half a minute behind. That's insane.
This is terrific excitement.
They continued the race side by side. After that, Michael set the best time. It seemed that he was pulling away. But in the fifth turn of the 36th lap, Schumacher made a mistake. He collided with a concrete wall and went off the track. Behind him, Damon is actively attacking.
He's lost time. Hill goes by.
Oh!
Out goes Schumacher.
First, Michael moved to the left, and then sharply to the right, where Hill tried to overtake him.
Oh
After
my
the
God.
collision,
What?
Damon's suspension was broken.
His suspension was broken.
Make a pit stop. It became clear that repairs were impossible. Therefore, both drivers finished the race.
So they were
At
both
that moment,
out.
the commissioners told Schumacher the news. He was filled with joy because he realized that he was becoming a world champion.
Yeah. Wow. Damn. What a way to end the season. That was crazy. Absolutely insane. I didn't know. Obviously, I knew many things that happened in the 1994 championship. I knew that Schumacher won. And obviously, that's the year that Senna died and Ratzenberger died. Everything else, that was so chaotic. It was just chaos after more chaos. There were so many things happening there. So yeah, I absolutely love that video. So much information in like the short 34 minutes that it was, but it was a really good video. So with that being said, if you have any other videos that you'd like me to react to, drop them in the comments. I'm working my way through everybody's suggestions at the moment. If you did want to check out any of my other socials or become a Patreon member and get early access to videos like this, then you can do all of that down below. And if you want to become a member on this channel and receive exclusive perks, you can also do that by hitting the join button down below. I hope you enjoyed today's reaction, and I will catch you next time for the next one. Bye.